I'm Mikhaili Peterson. Welcome to my channel. So I realize this is probably a few days late, but I've been really busy making merch. Why, you might ask? Well, Marvel, I honestly love Marvel, usually. I'm obsessed with superheroes, turned the Red Skull into my dad. Less nerdy folks might recognize the Red Skull from Captain America #1, the Winter Soldier, as literally the evil Nazi supervillain. Let me repeat, a supervillain Nazi comic book character.
I've been called a Nazi before. It's not pleasant, but this is one step beyond that. I mean, Nazi apparently isn't enough. I have to be a magical super Nazi. And, you know, by implication, well, really, it's so surreal and absurd that I couldn't believe it to begin with.
Dad tweeted it out a few days ago. Honestly, I think it took me a day to actually believe it was real. I thought maybe my dad was reading too far into this. My dad can't be written into a Marvel comic as a supervillain Nazi. That just, like, what reality am I in? Maybe it's a mistake. Maybe it's Photoshop. So I bought the comic online and looked at it. The Red Skull, 10 rules for life. Okay, that's a little weird. Then next to it, they have Chaos and Order, which is literally what my dad has written about in all 3 of his books. And the Feminist Trap, which is something he said. And mixed in there is Karl Lueger, who is literally an anti-Semite that influenced Hitler. So just mix them in there with what my dad actually says. Cool. Then the good guys go on to say, it's the same for all of them. Young men, weak, looking for purpose. They found the skull. He tells them what they've always longed to hear, that they're secretly great, that the whole world is against them, that if they're truly men, they'll fight back. So that's weird. Anyways, as soon as I read it, I was like, okay, we can use this. Merch time. I'm still currently working on Pouting Barbie merch from the Times fiasco. It's coming. But because I'm running my dad's business and have more serious things to do, it's kind of on the back burner. But I jumped on this faster. Being compared to a Nazi is a little bit more serious. Memes have been circulating like mad. Here are some good ones. Kudos to these people for making these. Thank goodness the internet has a sense of humor. Some of these are pretty funny because of the juxtaposition between how evil the Red Skull is and what my dad is like, which is not evil at all. Don't get bangs. There are even some videos out now.
You don't have one of those, do you?
Straighten up what you can straighten up. Organize your local landscape. Schedule your time. Start taking control of yourself. Clean up your room. You don't have to. You don't have to do any of this. That's okay.
Then how come you're running?
Anyway, like I said, I jumped on it. We contacted this kid, Carl Timlin, on Twitter, who had randomly made an awesome lobster mixed with Hydra. Hydra is the Red Skull symbol for his group of Nazis. Just to be clear, I don't find the fact that my dad was likened to a Nazi supervillain funny. My dad has spent the last 30 years focused on teaching and warning people against totalitarian ideologies like Nazism. The fact that Marvel is okay modeling the Red Skull after someone like my dad in a comic aimed at teenagers is literally propaganda. Ta-Nehisi Coates, the writer of this comic, is a pretty successful writer. He's written Black Panther and used to work for The Atlantic. Now, my dad has critiqued some of his work, and for all I know, he wrote it in there as a joke and is cackling just as I've been cackling for the last few days. However, likening someone to a Nazi and then selling it to kids isn't really that funny, especially in a comic book aimed at kids. And if you look at the mainstream media's response, which was massive, almost all of them, except the National Post and Rex Murphy, straight up lied about this. Jordan Peterson shocked by Captain America villain. Red Skull espousing 10 rules for life. Jordan Peterson is upset that a Nazi in a Captain America comic shares his ideas. Like what? Clean your room? Take responsibility for your life? The memes do it better than I. My dad was not happy. In his words, it was surreal. But don't give me the Jordan Peterson's ideas are like Red Skulls. Just don't. And to assume your readers are that stupid is losing you guys readers. Dad wasn't angry, but shocked was right. Hell, I was shocked. I thought it was photoshopped and I bought the comic. I gave money to Marvel, although in all fairness, I'm probably going to go to the movies still and watch those because I like them. But this is too weird. Mainstream media acts like there's a tiny minority of disaffected people following my dad. He's sold 6 million books. He has 3 million YouTube subscribers. It's like everyone who likes to lie becomes a journalist. That is my dad's quote, so I'll give credit where credit is due. Anyway, there wasn't much anger, especially not from me. I pretty much immediately thought that this was so insane, it was hilarious. If a bunch of memes come out and you make merch and donate the proceeds to charity, then it turns out it's quite funny. I worked with my team pretty much nonstop for the last few days, particularly my socials guy, Ben, and my brother, Julian, to get this out in time. So thanks to them. Thanks to Carl Gustav Timlin for the lobster logo. Thanks to Ben for nitpicking the design with me for like 6 hours and sending memes. And if anyone wants a limited edition Hail Lobster merchandise, a direct play on the Hail Hydra from Red Skull, thanks again, it's available. It's linked below. The merch is awesome and proceeds go to charity. I can't thank people enough for their support once again. We've made over $50,000 in profits.
I figured out how to monetize social justice warriors.
And like I said, 100% is going towards a charity in the States and one in Canada focused on helping families and kids. That was Dad's idea. Every time there's a controversy like this, I'm making merch. Beware. Like I said at the end of the Times video, don't fuck with me or my family.
The stone demands a sacrifice.
Of what?
Clean up your room. That's a good start. Organize your local landscape. Schedule your time. Start taking control of yourself. See if you can stop saying things you know to be lies.